Ladies and gentlemen, all of us have our views on quotas in educational institutes and jobs. Your views are shaped by your circumstances and your belief systems. For some, it's a tool of social justice. For others, it is anti-merit. At Delhi University, a new kind of quota has become the subject of quarrel between one of India's most prestigious colleges, St. Stephen's, and the university it is affiliated to, that is Delhi University. Delhi University, ladies and gentlemen, has introduced something they call a single girl-child quota, which essentially means that one seat in every course, in every college, is reserved for girls who are single children. Under this quota, St. Stephen's was mandated by DU to admit 12 students. The college refused, saying that this was beyond their capacity. The matter reached the Delhi High Court, and St. Stephen's made another big assertion. St. Stephen's says that a separate quota for a single girl child is against the right to equality and is unconstitutional. DU on its part is saying that quota is a tool of women empowerment. But ladies and gentlemen, here's the thing. Delhi University has more women students than men. 53% women and 47% men. Is this new quota then an overreach? For example, does the single girl child of a multi-billionaire or an IAS officer or a sitting minister deserve special treatment for being a girl and a single girl in the family? Is this a right to equality, as St. Stephen's is now arguing in court? The Delhi High Court will be deciding on this issue soon, but the debate continues. Let me go across to my guest this evening. Advocate Mohinder J.S. Rupal is representing Delhi University. Lalita Kumara Mangalam is a former chairperson of the NCW. Professor Tanvir Aeijaz is a columnist. He's an academician. And Professor Anubhav Dattiwar is from BITS Law College. Professor RK Pandey is from the Kirori Mal College. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. Can I just start by getting in Professor Tanvir into this debate? Professor Tanvir, where do you stand? St. Stephen's is saying, I mean, again, you know, you can always raise the question, how much quota is too much quota? Where does it end? There are many states in this country where the quota is breaching 60%. This is a new quota that Delhi University has introduced. St. Stephen's is calling it unconstitutional. Is this unconstitutional and against the right of equality in your view?
No, first of all, I think that let's not call it as quota, right? Because I think it's for the first time, this is what is called as supernumerary admissions, right? Which is not a sort of a quota that perhaps we refer to in terms of SC, ST, you know, and other different kinds of quota systems, right? So it's a supernumerary admissions over and above. And the idea of supernumerary is that it is over and above the sanction, the strength of the students in the college, right? So by the very nature itself, that it will go beyond the sanction, the strength, right? So I don't think, my position, particularly in terms of it's a good move, it's a progressive move by the Delhi University. I think one can congratulate the Vice Chancellor in terms of coming up with such a progressive law in terms of that if there's a single girl child. So I think opening up the education institutions for them. But the larger question, what St. Stephen's, you know, I mean, you know that there's a history of litigation where St. Stephen's, Delhi University, they are at a tug of a war because the problem here lies not, there's a very trivial issue, you know, let's say 6 admissions or 7 admissions here and there, or maybe 22 also is not a very big number when you consider the number of students in the college. But the question here, the moot question, or rather the large question here is about 2 things. You know, one is about citizens' right to admission in the public aided institutions, which is Article 29(2), right? Which impinges on the Article 30, which basically is minority institutions, which deals with minority institutions, which talks about that minorities have a right, fundamental right to establish and administer the education. Now, when it comes to administer the educational institutions, minority institutions, there the question lies that what are they going to administer? What are they going to manage? How they are going to talk about? I mean, this is where the whole problem lies. This is the gray area of administering and managing the minority institutions. So there is a state intervention. The question is, the tension is between how much control a state have over the minority institutions when it is a public funded, and how much it should not, or is it,
no,
that
I understand. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. You're telling us what the bedrock of the issue is. But, what I'm looking at particularly is St. Stephen's in the Delhi High Court submitting that this single girl child quota is essentially against equality. It is against the Constitution. I understand what you're saying, but this is what we're talking about right now. Professor RK Pandey, you're from the Kirori Mal College, Delhi University. Okay, give me a minute. Professor RK Pandey, Delhi University in court is asking कि St. Stephen's को क्यों problem है? Other colleges don't have this problem. Is that how you look at it as well, that St. Stephen's is being unnecessarily difficult? Because again, the point they have raised in the court and the point I'm raising as well is, does a billionaire's daughter who is a single child in her family deserve any sort of quota or any sort of special treatment, or a Neta's daughter or an IAS officer's daughter?
See, the thing is that I am not going to make a judgment on the move that St. Stephen's College has done, because they have a history of going against or going beyond what university generally says, and from the last few years they are kind of following the line of whatever university is trying to, in terms of admission policies, they are following. But this particular incident and the something that we are talking about, I am unable to understand that. I mean, since we all have so many kind of quotas there, and as Tanvir also has put in, that this is not a quota kind. This is something which we call supernumerary posts. Seats, and these supernumerary seats also have some kind of social context under which they are generally employed. So what social cause?
What is the social context here?
This, yeah.
What is the social context here? The fact is that Delhi University has more girls than boys.
That is what I am unable to understand. See, I don't know whether this was discussed in the council where it should have been, and if it was discussed, whether all the aspects were taken into account or not, because this is something that, I mean, if you are giving seats to, say, a child of war victim, there is some kind of a social responsibility that university is fulfilling. If you are giving sports quota, all these are supernumerary posts, supernumerary seats. So all these have some kind of a social context under which you would be giving. But this particular aspect is,
so social context, where does it stop? You are saying, you're saying this is not quota. In my eye, to a lay person, this is. I understand that, but to a lay person, this will be quota.
My problem is that, are we trying to encourage this kind of a single girl child system in families? See, we are basically struggling with no child syndrome, and one syndrome is, it shouldn't be encouraged. It shouldn't be encouraged. So this policy, I don't
Lalita Kumaramangalam. Okay. Just come in here, Lalita Kumaramangalam, and tell me where you stand. You're a women's rights activist, I understand that. But someone has to stand up for the rights of men also and boys also, na? Is it fair that I am the single daughter of a billionaire father and I am getting special treatment in Delhi University? I am the daughter of a sitting who, my father is a minister in the government of India, and I am getting special treatment in Delhi University and not the others. How is this fair? I mean, there are other quotas that have been, just by the way, introduced by Delhi University. For a boy, if he's an orphan, for a girl, if she's an orphan. These are quotas that were introduced along with this quota. I understand the social context there. I don't understand the social context as far as this single girl syndrome is concerned.
Okay, first of all, thank you for calling me in the show. And by the way, I'm an alumni of Stephens. I was the first batch of girls who go on 75 to 78. Stephens is a male bastion, at least it was. Today, when I go back to my old college, I see more young girls than boys. But that is the argument I am about to make is notwithstanding that. Yes, in Delhi University, there are more girls than boys who study at the university level today. But Delhi is not normal India. In fact, none of our metros are. So when what we're calling a quota, which is not, I'm told that it's over and above the total seats that are there in a particular department, which they have said one seat should be there for a woman.
Correct.
Now, whether the university decides who that student should be or not is a different question. But the fact that you say that if it is a single girl child, and the gentleman before me, he made the absolutely right point, Professor Pandey, he said the right thing, that this is probably to try to encourage people to have one, when we say have one child population explosion, etc., that we do not abort our girl fetus. Even today it is happening, despite all the laws that are there in the land. Stephens is right, it does have a problem with the Delhi University. It has had for decades. Even when I was there 40 years ago, I was there in the 70s, so almost 50 years ago. The college always was at loggerheads with the, but to say that it's constitutionally unfair and it is unfair to men is very wrong. You know, when you, let me put it a little more context, when you go to a big school or a big college, it's not just the education that you get there. It's the confidence, it's the training, it's the enormous amount of goodwill that you get after you pass out of those colleges. And the most invaluable thing is the network. This I have learned because I have studied in extraordinarily good schools and colleges. I got in on my own. I was a student. That's a different question. But women lack that network. So when you give a girl a chance to get into a university like Delhi, first university, I'm not talking about a particular college, and a college like say Miranda House or Stephens or Hindu or LSR or CJM, etc. That network that we are able to access once we pass out, we get a job, all of that. It takes years, centuries to build that almost. Even today, I'm 65 plus, but if I
But Lalita ji, you are right when you say Delhi is not every other city in this country. And so Delhi doesn't have a problem with girls get discriminated. We are talking about Delhi University only, na, Abhi?
Yes.
So what is the point comparing this and putting the social context to a Balia in Delhi? Fact is Delhi University is statistics are very clear.
Let's also remember that DU is not just the colleges whose names I gave. DU has hundreds of colleges now. And people who come to study in Delhi don't come just from Delhi or from families, millionaires or billionaires or politicians, bureaucrats, etc. Many of them come from what we may call ordinary, perhaps not low income, but maybe that too. For example, my batch and I, we just put a girl who was in fifth and also couldn't pay her fees.
But this quota is not talking about creamy layer, non-creamy layer, na? Lalita ji, but this quota is not talking about creamy layer. This quota is not talking about creamy layer and non-creamy layer.
No, it's not.
So आप क्यों बोल रही हैं that these girls come from disadvantaged families as well? This is not a seat for disadvantaged children.
No, 1 minute. So then if you say that, let us bring it down to single girls from disadvantaged or lower income or less privileged backgrounds. Yes, that is the point. But to just say that a single girl thing is wrong is, I don't think, fair to the girls. This has nothing to do with the boys. I think this is to encourage parents to have only one child, a girl child, and make sure that she gets the best education.
Okay.
I don't think that all the girls being, this are from creamy layer or from creamy layer.
Professor Tiwari just come here.
We sort it out.
ठीक है, Professor. So essentially there's a problem. That's exactly the point I'm trying to make. There is a problem with the quota. But Professor Tiwari, just come in here and tell us where you stand. Because one of the contentions of St. Stephen's in court has been, if we give a seat to every student that Delhi University wants us to give a seat to, then in a department where the sanctioned strength of students is 50, we'll have to take 150 students. We'll do that. But Delhi University is pushing more students on us and not even giving us the teachers that are required to teach them. I want to ask you where you stand on this and the rather controversial statement that St. Stephens has made in the Delhi High Court to say that this single girl child quota is essentially unconstitutional?
Yeah, before saying where I stand, actually I stand on looking at it where the court will go towards it, because this is getting to very interesting issues from constitutional lens, and that is equality, and the next is the minority institutions' rights. Uh, so that's one. Now, on the first one, I would just like to say this is nothing new. The state has been making special provisions for single girl child. Maybe not in a quota way, like in where I am in Maharashtra, they have the Kanya Bhagyashree scheme where they have cash benefits. But yes, there is a rider that you have to provide sterilization certificate, right? So this is firstly not something new in the sense of giving benefits to single child in some way or the other. Now, from a constitutional lens, from equality lens, it has to pass the reasonable classification test. You have to be very clear on that's the constitutional test, and that's the gray area. And I agree with Professor Tanvir there. That's the gray area where I'm also interested, where the court will move in this direction. Now, we are talking about the classification that the university has done, and that is families, benefit families with single girl child. Now, let's see who that clashes with, right? That clashes with families who have more than one child, firstly, right? That's the clash we are going to first, whether the classification is reasonable or not, whether it is fair or not on them. Second, the interesting point will be, what about girl child who also have other sisters or brothers, for example, right? They are not going to get the benefit of this. So whether this is fair, this is reasonable. Okay. Now, in terms
These are questions that are being asked in court. I'm afraid your signal is not very clear, but questions that are being asked in court, though this is not the fulcrum of the case, as Advocate Rupal will tell us, is something that has come about because 12 girls were denied admission by St. Stephens under this quota, which is why they went to court. 6 of them went to court, and that what the St. Stephens has said. Advocate Rupal, what is your argument in court against what St. Stephens is saying?
Regarding single girl child quota, please.
Yes.
Hello. Yes. See,
Advocate Rupal, yes, that is the question I'm asking. Please go ahead.
Controversy has started. Yes. So I am the yes. So now we have to understand how this controversy has started. See, this single girl child quota is, I would say, is one of the initiative of the Honorable Vice Chancellor of University of Delhi for towards women empowerment, and that famous slogan "Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao." Now, this is, I would say, a social cause which has been taken as an initiative, and to put it in a shape where it is being implemented in pith and substance by giving them something which is that education. We say Beti Padhao, so this is towards that initiative. So first of all, I would say this
Advocate Rupal,
initiative is laudable.
I understand what you are saying.
Moreover,
I understand what you're saying.
Let me
it is laudable. It would have been laudable
no.
if the gender ratio in Delhi University was skewed. है ना?
May I submit? If you can just give me only 1 second further. So this now initiative was put it in writing by approval of the Academic Council, and this initiative took the form in writing in the form of CSAS, and this was implemented on 27th of July 2024, and thereafter in good earnest even St. Stephen College accepted this position. CSAS has been recognized by them. There has been no objection whatsoever by St. Stephen's College at this point of time. I would have appreciated if St. Stephen would have any issue on that. Then they should have challenged it at the very threshold. See, you cannot change the goalpost when the play has begun. So now the allocation has started.
So you are essentially saying when Stephens had said yes,
and we have reserved.
No, you are saying that once St. Stephen had said yes, and Delhi University had sent 12 students in, then don't deny them that admission. If you have a problem, challenge it, but at least let these 12 girls come in. Don't play with the future of students. I appreciate what you're saying. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. This has been an interesting debate. We've not heard the end of it because the Delhi High Court is yet to rule on it. Now, sir, I'm out of time. I'm completely out of time. The fact is that the Delhi High Court will now rule on it. It will be very interesting to hear what they have to say about this single girl child quota and whether they believe it is against the right to equality. We'll wait for it. Thank you very much.